Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Staging Secrets on a Shoestring Budget. I am your hostess with the mostest, Sharon Parento. But I want to make sure that everybody knows about the chat box feature for Zoom. This is a great place to pose any of your questions that you might have. And also, we're just going to start by asking you to type in where you are watching us from. So if you can find that chat box and just let us know where you're watching, we'd be really appreciative. And we're going to get started right away, okay? So we will be sending out a recording of this session, absolutely. And we also have some resources that we will be emailing to you. Okay, so wonderful to have you here. It's a beautiful sunny day in Toronto. Still a little bit nippy, but I see that spring is coming slowly but surely. And this is the time when people start thinking about listing their homes for sale. And every home that we list for sale has some degree of staging. And if you've not sold a house for 10 or 15 years, you're probably thinking, like, staging? Why would I need to stage this beautiful house? And this is not in any way a critique of your personal style. It is strictly a reflection of the marketing reality that goes into real estate right now. So let's just start by way of introduction. There I am, pre-COVID haircut. And my name is Sharon Parento. I'm a realtor in Toronto, but that's not my intention here, is to try to sell you on my services as much as on the idea that staging is a really important investment for homeowners today. I know that you've been hearing in the news that we are in this huge seller's market where homes are selling in multiple offers, yada, yada, yada. That doesn't mean you don't have to pay attention to how your property is marketed. To increase the sale value of your property by from 10 to 25% over last year. And the way that you are going to top out that maximum value is by making sure your home presents well online. And staging is the first step in that. Well, maybe the second step. The first step we talk about in a separate seminar, and that is really decluttering, because we can't bring our clutter in. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. We can't bring our things in for staging until we have a bit more of a neutral palette. We are literally in this process this week. We have a beautiful home for sale coming to the market on Monday, and all of this week the homeowners are busily preparing, and the very first step is to pack up the surplus. So let's start back at the basics, and that is to say thank you for being here, welcome, and let's just start with a working definition of what is staging. So staging is done just before we come to market. It is kind of setting the stage for a successful sale by ensuring that your home has the maximum appeal to the broadest number of people, because it is just a numbers game in real estate. And if you take your home and if it's worth approximately the average, and in our market that's over $1 million, you can see that there is at any one time just a small portion of the population that can afford a detached home. So we want to make sure that that number is as big as possible so that we can get you a quick sale at a high price. And we want to make sure that your home is presenting well in a variety of formats. 95% of buyers are looking online before they ever contact a realtor. So making sure that those pictures are just the best they possibly can be to highlight the strengths of your property and minimize its weaknesses it's going to go a long way in getting you that great result. So I know many of you think this is what we're talking about, and you're not wrong. We have staged properties for friends. I don't typically do it for my clients, but I've done it a couple of times for friends and family. And it literally is baskets from HomeSense of pillows and little tchotchkes and throw cushions. Like, it is the whole shebang. But I do mean a little bit more than just that. So this is a misconception that just 47 throw cushions is enough to get your house ready for market. So staging has a very particular purpose in mind. And let's just review that. As I mentioned, our number one goal is to create a broadly appealing property. So we take what is maybe your particular style and we tend to neutralize it a bit. We also want to make sure that as the pictures are being swiped, you know, and we see them, that there is kind of a cohesion to the overall style cues. So in this particular picture you see here, it's a condo in Aurora that sold for the highest sale price in that building for that size of unit ever. I don't even think it's been surpassed now. And one of the cues that we created were these little turquoise colors throughout, and we took our inspiration from a painting that the home sellers had, and we just kind of jettisoned off of that color story, and we made that sure that all of the pictures of the home had a complementary color palette. And we actually even created marketing pieces in terms of a property brochure and a just listed postcard that all had that same color story going on. And when people walked into the condo after we had finished getting it ready, it was genuinely a wow type of property. And we had somebody who was not even intending to purchase a condo, who was actually there with their parents who were shopping for a condo. They ended up falling in love with it and deciding that they would buy it. So we can really create unexpected results when the property is compelling to particular, you know, the particular market that we are pitching it to, right? So we want to make sure that it is light, bright, spacious, and really showing off to its maximum potential. An example is in this particular picture here, you see that we have a sectional sofa. When we came in, it was actually pivoted the other way and blocked off the room. And just by something as simple as repositioning the furniture, we allowed for a better flow and a greater sense of spaciousness. So staging doesn't always mean that we bring in the 47 throw cushions, and you know, we're not asking you to put all your furniture in storage. A lot of times there's a base of your furnishings, but with more coordinated type accessories. So how does it begin? Well, it starts by a professional stager coming in and then giving us a list of recommendations, things that you can do to prepare your home, things that usually it's like individual pieces of furniture that we suggest are moved out or put into storage or rearranged, like I mentioned. And then they give you a complete written quotation of what their services cost. It's not just the consultation that we are talking about here. I want you to think of it as almost like a mini moving day. And depending on how big your home is and how much is being brought in, there are two men in a moving truck with furniture that comes in, accessories that come in, and it's usually a 3 to 5 hour process. And all of that is covered in the cost of the staging. And then you're renting some pieces essentially for the month. And then when your home sells, it's all removed and the move in, the mini move is reversed. So it is the consultation, the rental of the furniture, the installation, and the removing of the furniture that's included. And that is approximately around the $2,000 mark for a typical 3 or 4 bedroom home. So we know that that seems like a huge chunk of change when you are considering selling your home. But the only reason I am recommending this is because it's going to make a positive impact on your final result. It's an investment. It's an investment in two ways, and we're going to get to that for sure. Okay, so we don't usually stage the house as vacant. As I mentioned, we're usually using your key pieces, your dining room table, your sofa, and then we work with that. So why do we need to do all of this effort, and why are we spending this money? I'm not trying to keep stagers in business. That's not the purpose here. The purpose is to create that outcome that you deserve, and your house should be showcased in a way so that we are reflecting how those buyers are searching. So buyers used to go into a real estate office and flip through a book. They would look at the listings and they would say, okay, it's 4 bedrooms, it's in the right neighborhood, it's a price we can afford. And they would kind of do that mental checklist. And then they would go, and the very first encounter they would have with that property was in person. But by that time, there is a certain amount of confirmation bias at work where they've already chosen this one. And now what we see is that buyers are spoiled for choice. It's so easy for them to look online and just immediately reject a property on cosmetic basis. So we want to make sure that they're not skipping by your home when they're looking online. Way before they come to your house, they have made an evaluation about it. And when they go out, especially in COVID, right now, we don't have tire kickers coming to homes to view them anymore. We don't have casual shopping. We have people who are there to choose between your house and 1 or 2 others in the neighborhood. So we want to make sure that they come in, they look, and they make that final decision. And the only way we're going to get them out of their cozy homes is by presenting your home strongly in online marketing. So think of your buyer. Your buyer is not you. Your buyer is usually a dual income family. They have kids, they have stresses of time and finances and affordability, and they are looking to leverage whatever real estate they have now, the equity in that, to move up to your home. So they have all the same interests in your neighborhood as you did. The schools, the amenities, the parks, all of that is what is drawing them into your neighborhood. But they also don't have very much time or very much spare money. So if they do have 2 nickels to rub together, eventually, we want them to spend that on their own cosmetic improvements. But in the meantime, we have to show your property as being a viable option for them. So this is an important factor in understanding what mindset they have. Like everyone, when they get into looking at real estate, they want the best value for their money. That's a no-brainer. And then for a buyer, that means a home that appears to have been updated or modernized or at least well maintained. And staging can do a lot in creating that image in their mind, that this is a home that even if it needs a bit of upgrading down the line, it is livable now and they can see themselves in it. So as we mentioned, they are looking online, they are spending time shopping for their own homes, essentially. I have several buyers I'm working with now, and even though I send them properties to look at, they also send me properties and say, hey, what about this one? Can you find out about what the history is on this listing, or how long this has been on the market? Do you think they'll take 10% under asking? We have these dialogues. So it's a very dynamic process of buyers shopping. So we want to make sure that when we put your property out into the marketplace, that it's not just a sign on the lawn and we wait for people passively to come to your listing and to find it. We have to make sure that we are putting it out on websites, on Facebook, on the MLS, every different possible way of accessing those buyers and finding them for you. And that's why we want to make sure those pictures of your home are really spot on for their particular needs and wants in a home. So it isn't just a one stop shop anymore. It's not just one place to go find homes. They have lots of opportunities to see your home in a lot of different example. And this is where we get into some terrific, impactful photos of homes. So for a while lately, I seem to have become the realtor of choice for people who, before they knew me, listed a house with somebody else. And this is a prime example with the clients who cleaned it up and tidied it up and decluttered and felt like that was enough to sell their home. And unfortunately, their realtor didn't tell them otherwise. This property was on the market for almost a year with another agent. And you can see that they were a little dowdy, very comfortable. This is the way they lived day in and day out, but it wasn't enough to get the price point that they were looking for. Younger buyers just could not imagine themselves living in this home as it was. And I know you're thinking to yourself, well, they should be able to see the good bones, that the unchanging features of this home, the layout, the floor plan, the location, but they just can't. The overall impression this house created, I think, time and time again, was that it was going to be a lot of work to modernize. And people voted, the market voted with their feet. And they said for 10 months, they said, not this house at this price in this condition. And they got nothing but lowball offers. Now, this is the before. Look what we did with actual staging. It wasn't just enough to tidy it up. We had to actually clear out a lot of their furniture. Now, this is the exception to the rule, but we created these beautiful vistas that created the opportunity for amazing photographs. And that's what brought people in and got them the price. So you can see that lazy boy rockers are how we live, but the way we want to market to that particular buyer who was a luxury, upscale, young professional had to be different. So this is all supported, not just by my experience, but by research. We know that there are specific benefits to staging that buyers have reported, and it makes it easier for them to visualize the property. They're more likely to come and see it online. They also think that it's going to impact the value of the property in the positive and help them to overlook some of the other flaws. So this is from the buyer's point of view. As I mentioned, we want to present your property in a variety of formats, including video. So this is the after, when we got a hold of this property and we're able to show it online. So you can see that we achieved the final goal. We did, obviously, we sold this house. I wouldn't be telling you this story if we also couldn't sell it. But by creating really great photographs for the MLS, for the property brochure, for the simple little video that we put out to Facebook and various other social media websites, we created the end result that our clients were hoping for. Okay, so this is why we need to get down, get dirty, and change a few things if necessary. The end result is so much worth it. So sellers say that they record more than 50% of sellers say that it helped the value of their home. And that's really the only thing that matters at the end of the day, is if we can make money for you on this. The other thing we want to make sure is that the home sells more quickly this way. So those are the two things that we're holding in balance, is that we want the highest sale price for you possible and the quickest sale time, because it's very disruptive being for sale. There's no doubt about it. So we want to really minimize the impact on your life, and at the same time, not leave any money on the table, so to speak. The very worst case scenario for a seller is for the market to determine that your home is a fixer-upper, and they're only going to give you low ball offers. That's what we want to avoid for sure. So as I said, there are two metrics that I judge my own performance by: the sale price that I achieve for my clients, and for how quickly the property sells. And you're going to see that there was, oh yeah, that there's a big portion of them who really feel that the home sold more quickly because it was staged. So if we are all now convinced that property should be staged, and I'm hoping that this will really nail it down for you. So 50% of realtors expected there to be between a $10,000 and $200,000 improvement on sale price based on their percentages of $1 million home. So why wouldn't you spend $2,000 to make $20,000? That to me is a total no-brainer. So the question is, how does this work? How does this magic occur? Just by decluttering and you know, putting in a few throw cushions? How do we create this fine result here? Well, it comes down to creating a very positive first impression with your buyer. We want to lighten and brighten wherever possible, so the home has a great deal of appeal. We've always are emphasizing the natural daylight of a home, so that for us means things like pulling down heavy drapery or swags, anything that is obstructing the amount of light in the property. We always want to deal with that. Sometimes it means lightening up even the color of paint. So that's one thing. We always want to make the house look as big as possible, of course, because this is what is going to sell to a move-up buyer, is that they're buying more space, and that people are not obstructed in any way as they walk through your home. Also, we organize the pictures online on the MLS to kind of walk through the house, and we want to show that consistent story throughout. And if you've got rooms that are not currently being used as their intended function, in other words, like I right now am sitting in my third bedroom that I've converted to an office. If I was listing my home for sale, I might consider restoring this back to a bedroom so that my 3-bedroom house shows as a 3-bedroom house. If you have a guest room, like with a pull-out couch or an office in it. But for the most part, we want to make sure, again, so that buyers don't have to make that imaginative jump. And we're creating a very, very positive feeling about the home, that it's clean, it's well lit, it is appealing, it's inviting. So let's talk about light and bright. You can see that in this case here, the basic home did not change, but we minimized the amount of wood that we were showing everywhere in this living room, dining room kind of combination room by breaking it up with an area rug and lighter accessories. So immediately it transformed this space into something that was much brighter and generally more attractive. So that's light and bright. You can also see here we're changing out the paint color and pulling down the dark, heavy panel curtains, a big advantage to making the whole place look bigger, brighter, more attractive. In terms of increasing the spaciousness, we have some more before and after photos. Now this is a home, a different listing we had, again, listed previously with another agent. And you're gonna see that the changes we made were subtle but important. What immediately is your eye drawn to in this picture? For me, it is the patterned bedspread and the kind of ugly TV. TVs are generally ugly. So in this case, what we did was we lightened everything up and pulled out some of the unnecessary, especially the television. Again, we want the the primary bedroom to be a real haven of relaxation and rest, and we don't want the reminder of having a television there if we can possibly help it. So in this case, our focal point now is just the overall spaciousness of the room, and it's not chopped up by a lot of heavy furnishings or the bedspread pattern really drawing your eye. So here is a cheap, very, very effective staging tip, is that we swap out bedspreads that are colored or patterned and we just put in white. And then we bring back the color with some throw cushions or other accessories. It just visually neutralizes the bed and it's not such a dominant presence. In most bedrooms, the bed is the focal point, and we kind of want to de-emphasize that. So here's another example. This actually was a friend's townhouse. I'm sorry that it is so blurry, but what had been there previously was a sectional sofa that was black leather, and it was, first of all, you had to kind of shimmy past it. And so we took that out, put it in the garage, and pulled down 2 armchairs actually from other bedrooms and set up the TV. We turned it from being on the wall where the pictures are and just pivoted everything so that we could capture this great angle. This room is tiny. It is tiny, but by removing the surplus oversized furniture, we were able to lighten and brighten the space, and it just looks so much bigger. Now, this is another example of a property that was not staged. It has a little too much furniture in it. This is not the same house. This is a different property. And the living room feels very kind of tight and cramped. The thing that I would do right away on this, if I was diagnosing this, is I would take out this beige sofa away from that beautiful bay window. It's blocking a lot of light. And I would also take down the swags that are also impinging the light. And if possible, I would open up the curtains. This property was a townhouse that had these beautiful perennial gardens outside, but it looks dated and closed in and small, far because we were able to attract um, a bigger pool of potential buyers for it. So people look at this and they think, oh my gosh, it's going to be so much money. But it's not really as bad as it looked. People just lack the imagination. So we want to make this an easy transition in their minds from this person living there to the new buyer. So flow. You've got to imagine that we don't want anything obstructing the best features of your home. Like we just saw, being blocked off by the sofa. You couldn't even see it. And it's such an important feature. So we don't want anything to block access. And in this case, we have a walkout from the bedroom to a deck. And that door was being blocked by other furniture before. So we wanted to make sure that we actually took the bed and we moved it onto that wall so that people could walk by and get out to the deck, no problem. Nothing to block the flow. Same thing here, where we're walking out to a patio door and we actually brought in a smaller table, a glass table, and had been a rectangular table that cut into the thoroughfare out to the backyard. So just by doing simple rearranging of furniture or bringing in a few smaller pieces, we're enabling our buyer, the agent, everybody to walk through problem. If you have a dining room table that has leaves in it and now has 6 or 8 chairs around it, one of the best and easiest hacks I can suggest to you is that you pull out the leaves, you collapse the table down to its smallest size, and just have 4 chairs. Much, much bigger. So continuing on with our idea of flow. Obviously, nobody is going to sell their house with pictures of people assembling furniture in it, but let's just see what they changed. The basic pieces are very similar, but one of the things that was a little bit lighter, we cleared off some of the walls and we wanted like no unnecessary tchotchkes in the place. We also did change out the dining room table and chairs, although a very common hack, and we're going to be doing that up in our house that we're listing right now, is that we keep the dining room table, but we bring in more modern fabric covered chairs. And that really updates the look immediately. So kitchen, that there is no pieces of furniture. There are no pieces of furniture blocking access there, that everybody can walk through very easily. And that again, we talked about the function. Listings, and it's very unfortunate because there's a lot of lost potential here. Again, office furniture tends to be ugly, just like TVs tend to be ugly. They're not what we really want to emphasize in the room. Look what we did by bringing it back to being a 4th bedroom. Now, this is not a real bed, actually. It is an air mattress on milk crates. We drape it with a skirt or a king size sheet so that we are covering up the milk crate and the 2 side tables. The chest was already there. We just brought in some pillows, a few color coordinated accessories, and you'll notice that the bed doesn't even have a headboard. It's just oversized cushions. So this is an inexpensive way of restoring a bedroom back to being a bedroom when we don't have the bed anymore. So these people were empty nesters, and they had cleared out that bedroom, but we restored it back to a bedroom so that we could really emphasize that this was a 4-bedroom house. And that's what buyers in their community were especially looking for. So we also noticed that, can I just say something? We also have a change in the angle of the photography. This really looks a lot better from the angle that we've captured it by. And it's just a subtle thing, but it's an important thing to make sure that the photographer your realtor hires is really good at real estate photography. So even the color correction is much more appealing. So a warmer, more inviting look with a restored function. So let's have a look here. Oh, yeah, this is an example of this is another fake bed. And actually, this is really funny. This is a friend of mine's house, and we staged this, and I had borrowed, in air quotes, a whole bunch of stuff from my youngest daughter's bedroom. So she came home from school, and her bedroom was pretty bare because I had taken her some throw cushions and things like that. But this had been kind of a junk room where all of the overflow had ended up. And so we cleared that out, moved that out to the basement, and put up an air mattress, literally air mattress on milk crates. So it can be done, but the best important thing is it's not difficult. It's something you can do yourself. It just takes a little bit of imagination. And in this case here, this is a condo, and in condo land, it's really funny. We have this kind of game we play, tongue-in-cheek. It's Find the Den. So this property was listed as a 2-bedroom plus den. Guess what? This is the den. It was a transition area from the bedroom to the bathroom, as you can see there, and it was a little bit dead space. But by staging it as a work from home space, people could actually see the potential that it wasn't just an oversized hallway. It actually could be a useful functioning space. So that's why we really emphasize creating the functionality so that people don't have to guess. If you have dead space in your house and you're not sure how it best can be used, that's where the stager's expertise comes in. Recently, we've been seeing older homes that have absolutely huge master bedrooms, sometimes like an L shape with a separate sitting area. We want to make sure we dress that sitting area as functional, usable space, and not just let it, leave it up to their imagination. Here's another example. If you have a finished basement, this is gold. This is bonus space, and we want to show it off in its best light. So in this case, we had a finished basement with a home theater. And so we set up the little board game on the table there, really just to create that impression of what it was going to be used for. So we don't always show basements in our photos, especially if they're unfinished. We rarely do. We want to really show the better parts of the homes, to be honest. But in this case, we knew that the family shopping for this home would love this extra space, and we really made sure that we showed it off to its best potential. Okay, so 3 different iterations of the same concept is that we're showing the function of a space, including outdoor spaces. If you have a beautiful outdoor terrace or patio or a covered deck, we're going to stage that as well, because that is valuable functional space, especially during shutdown. Okay, so let's get to the feeling. This is where we're trying to create that wow. Okay, so I hope you can see the feeling of it being tied together, being very coordinated, being a calming effect. In the first picture, there's just a little too much going on. We've got competing patterns. We've got a busy area rug, and it just doesn't seem to be integrated into the living space of the kitchen as much as we'd like. So by pulling out the server there, neutralizing the decor, we really create a very, very peaceful, harmonious sense in this second room there. Some more before and afters. Again, obviously, nobody is going to list their home for sale in the before picture. You think, you hope. We do actually see some really bad pictures on MLS, the multiple listing service, and sometimes they are laugh out loud funny, and other times I think, my goodness, there should be some way of reporting this realtor, because part of my job is to serve your best interest. And if I was to list the home and it looked anything like the one on the left, I really would have to say I'm not taking good care of you. And I think there should be some way of reporting these bad MLS photos. But you can see that we've created this calm, peaceful haven by lightening things up, by bringing in some appropriate sized table lamps so that there is a right proportions throughout the room. And we have made the bed with the 47 throw cushions, and just created a very peaceful, calming environment that we know is going to be very appealing to buyers. It seems almost like a cliche that we have the master bedroom as being like a retreat. So we're going to create that emotional response by adapting the design of the space. So this is back to that original first property we showed you, where we created the wow, and people were willing to pay for the wow. That they paid a premium for this property, absolutely no doubt, because it really captured them, their imagination, and created that emotional response to them. So this is a really great example to leave as our final reminder that we are looking to create an emotional response in our buyers. So this is a great example too of the power, the transformative power of staging. This property was a condo owned by an elderly woman who was the grandmother of a friend of mine. So we agreed to stage the property because she really didn't see the value in it. But we knew that as it was, she was going to get a discounted lowball type of offer because of the place looking, you know, quite dated. I want to show you what we were able to do with it. It's the same space. We rearranged her furniture, moved some of it into the den there behind the French doors, and we had light pink walls to deal with, and we didn't have a big budget because she didn't really want to, you know, pay for anything too much. So we transformed the light pink into kind of a beachy feel, and we brought in seashells and pictures and everything that would really emphasize this as a more contemporary space. And we were able to achieve a sale for her that was over asking, with multiple offers in less than 2 weeks. So you can see that grandma's cozy cottage on the left would not have attracted a contemporary buyer, and the after picture totally did. So I'm really, really proud of this result, because it made such a big difference to her that she had literally thousands of dollars more to fund her retirement and not have to worry. That to me was really a huge win. Okay, so that was just a total little 5-second teaser, but you get what I mean. That when we are pitching your property to a young buyer, we want to make sure that it speaks to them in a language they understand. Okay, so this is really funny. We talked about the bad MLS pictures, and in this case, look, we even have Grandpa still in the picture. So the photographer didn't even say, hey, can you move out of the picture? Or he stepped in right at the last minute. So there are some really bad MLS pictures out there, including, this is pretty funny, that we've got an office here. Like, if I was the realtor, I would have gone in even just for the day and packed up the desk at the very least. I am not sure why they chose this angle for the MLS photography, where we see the clutter of his desk. It would have been far better, I think, to be at the door looking in rather than in the back corner looking out. And this is hilarious. This is a house on the right. We see a guy sitting at the table, the teenage son. He was in 3 or 4 of the pictures, and this was a property that was listed at over $2 million. Are you kidding me? It was a realtor's own house. He was selling his own house, and I thought, okay, they really should know better. But apparently they didn't. And of course, the house didn't sell. That's the end. You know, the cautionary tale is that you can do whatever you want when you're selling your own house, but you know, it falls on you for the responsibility. So we really have to make sure that we're taking good care to present your home in the most positive light. There's the boy. And then I have to say also, on the other side, the balancing truth is that sometimes there is too much of a good thing. I think I counted 7 or 8 objects on the coffee table. To me, this is too much by about 30% too much. So I don't like this look either. It's just as bad as a cluttered house. Now it's just cluttered with Winners stuff or HomeSense stuff. I really don't like that. So one of the things that I've had to work over the years is finding a stager who I think has the right balance between a bit of luxury, a little bit of bling, but not too much. I do not want a house looking like it should be a disco or something. It has to still look like a family home to some degree. So there is too much of a good thing, in my opinion. So striking that balance is always an important thing. And I have seen homes that look like this in real life, and trust me, it's a turnoff, because it's not just this room, it's every room. So yes, questions. This is a great time to ask your questions. And next week, when you come back, we are going to go room by room, and I'm going to give you kind of a specific to-do list in getting your home ready for sale. And we're always going to start with the cheap or free things, the inexpensive things. But I think what we are doing today that is really valuable is setting your understanding to be aligned with your buyer and thinking of your home relative to those key basic principles of light and bright and spaciousness and feeling and flow. So please let me know what questions you have. And I just want to share with you that we have other offerings that I want to make you aware of. One of the major reasons that people decide to downsize their home is that they would like to access the funds that they have accrued over time and basically help to finance their retirement through it. And this is a really important aspect to most people's retirement. They plan on downsizing. So we have a partnership with Leor Jagger, who is a wealth advisor from Scotia Wealth Management. And we are just going to look at what to do to get your house ready for sale, and then what to do with the surplus of the funds, just some suggestions. An hour long, and we really enjoy your time with you. So we hope you'll come out, and you can click to register. When you get this PowerPoint sent to you, you can register that way. Okay, so there we go. That's going out to the community. Plus, there is a big deal right now in the marketplace with increasing property values. If you haven't had a checkup in your real estate for the last couple of years, you might be very pleasantly surprised to find out how much your home is worth. As I mentioned to you at the beginning of this webinar, we're seeing between a 10 and 25% increase in property values across the board. But rather than just guesstimate, why not let somebody like myself, who's a professional, prepare for you an accurate evaluation. So, sorry, I'll just show you that in this case, it's not just me guessing, you know, like, oh, I think it's about, we do research and we show you what the other properties have sold for in your neighborhood. and allow you to see what the market is doing as an overall trend. We're happy to provide this to you with no cost or obligation. We never charge for these things, because I think the power of information is such that if you have good information, you're going to make good decisions. And that's really what we want to help you to do. So please reach out to us. We're not going to do it proactively. It's something we are only going to offer to you if you ask us for it. So let's get together on that, and we'll set that up. We also really emphasize the importance of decluttering as a way of preparing to sell your home. Also, even if you're not preparing to sell your home, decluttering is a much happier way to live, especially when we're spending so much time indoors. So we have a wonderful campaign for you that is just an email campaign every day for 30 days. We also have the other webinars that are our offerings to you on a regular basis, all about guiding you through the process of getting ready to sell, including our first one in the series, which is coming up very soon, and that's our Get Ready to Downsize webinar. It really is geared to answering the question, is now the right time? Or if not now, when? And what are the kinds of triggers that are going to have to happen in order to make that more of an immediate situation? So lots of great sharing, lots of good information in terms of research and considerations that I guarantee not everyone has thought of. So we hope you will join us. Other comments, questions? How are we doing for time? Oh, we're right on time. We have 9 or 10 minutes left of questions if you'd like to ask. And please type them into the text box. We also are doing condo tours. Oh, and we have our brand new townhouse tour. Oh, I love doing this because townhouses, I think, are a wonderful transition property from a detached home to the next phase of life, because lots of times they offer you living on 2 stories but no maintenance or less maintenance. So the townhouse tour is a brand new offering for us. We've only done it a couple of times, and I really like this as an option. So join us if that's of interest to you. And you can follow us on social media. We have a strong presence on different aspects of social media, and of course, a ton of resources at our website. So I've been kind of filling in the time here to see if there's any questions, any questions at all. No questions? Okay, well, I want to thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us. It's been my great pleasure. We will be sending you out this as a copy, and then you can see if any of our other resources are of interest or value to you. So thank you for being here. My name is Sharon Parento. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. And if you have questions after thinking about this, I would welcome them at any time. I love talking shop, so you just let me know. Okay, thanks so much. Have a great afternoon, and bye for now.